Yeah, hi Boyd. I think you did a great job, and I want to compliment you very much. I have I guess a question in regards to, you mentioned a lot of good points about investors doing due diligence on their, let's say, managers. One of the things that I do, I work with over 35,000 accredited investors. And what we do is we train them to look at the counterparties, at who the investment manager is working with. Number one, where are the assets being held, the custodian or the prime broker? Number two is, who is the administrator or the third party? Are they getting, a third party statement, or is it being done in-house? Number three is, who's the legal or lawyer who drafted up, whether it's a hedge fund or just a private placement memorandum. And number four is, who's the auditor? I mean, to me, these are very important questions. And when I meet any new fund manager, these are typically the first questions that I want to know. As an investor and investors that I represent, we want to know who the infrastructure is outside of what your strategy is and what may be esoteric, products that you're trading. To me, it's more important to know who you're working with.
I think that's an excellent point and an excellent service. And what I think that you need to realize is really in modern times, I mean, one, the market has become so complex, and two, most of the clients really are pretty darn busy. Might not be, I mean, they may be smart, but you just don't have the time or the resources to really go through all of the investment alternatives to do the investigation. And I think services that offer accredited investors, people that are likely to be placing lots of money with additional resources with which to judge, the options available to them. I think that's good. And I think there are red flags out there. Like I think with a lot of the true frauds, what we've seen is accounting firms, Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Hayhira, Georgia, that no one's ever heard of, and certainly things like that. I'm sure there are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Harry's honest, good people, but at least it's something that says it needs to be checked further. So I commend you on that, and I think I think it's an excellent service for investors to take advantage of. Tom?
Tom Wright with Emery Partners, one of those greedy hedge fund managers. I notice in your CV here that you've testified a lot in Washington. I have some experience up there myself. In another venue, I work in tax reform, but that gets me into the Senate Finance Committee and other places like that. Frankly, I have yet to find any staff up there that has the faintest idea what we do in the investment world. I mean, they're completely incompetent. And I've had to walk away from the Grassley side of the committee concluding that the only reason they're rattling this regulatory sword is because they think we're not giving them enough campaign contributions, we in the hedge fund business. In all of your experience and all of your testimony, have you actually found anybody up there who actually understands this business that we should be working with to get some sanity out of Washington, D.C.?
I think that the truth is that there is a dearth of expertise up there. I think it may be attributable to a lot of factors. But I thought there was an interesting article several weeks ago in the Journal, and it was quoting Mary Shapiro, the chairman of the SEC, is they now plan to set up a fraud college for new people that work at the SEC. And I thought it was pretty interesting that since they've been supposedly regulating fraud for the last 30 years, they were finally going to teach their staff something about the subject. And I think the truth is when you start talking about your area of the business, the hedge fund business, when you start talking about derivatives, I think whether it be the SEC, whether it be Congress, I think you are talking to a blank wall as far as understanding. And other than perhaps a senator that has a very unique staffer that might have gone to MIT, there would be virtually no understanding of a lot of the subject matter.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Boyd. I appreciate it.